From 6 News, this is Feel Good Friday.
Loads of people have been coming up to me to ask for photos and to go, oh, is that a real piano? Will it actually work? And I go, yeah.
When you're a kind leader, people want to listen to what you have to say. People want to follow you, and they're excited to be a part of your group.
All of the foreign airlines started shutting down and no longer flying to Beirut Airport.
Thanks for joining us on this Feel Good Friday. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. We are starting tonight with some international feel-good stories like this one from South Africa, where a lion is now safe from the war that came to her former home. Lion cub Sarah is the 5th one to be evacuated from Lebanon by an animal rights group known as Animals Lebanon. The group first saw her on social media posted by a man in Beirut. They were able to get the government to take action and force the abusive owner to hand Sarah over. But before they could get her on a flight, the war between Israel and Hamas expanded to Lebanon.
And then as the war intensified towards the end of September and certainly the last week of September, all of the foreign airlines started shutting down and no longer flying to Beirut Airport. And we really had no way out for her.
Animals Lebanon collected donations to put Sarah on a boat to Cyprus and then flew to the United Arab Emirates before her journey ended in Cape Town. And soon, Sarah will join 2 other lions recently rescued from Lebanon at the sanctuary.
Taken away to the dark side. I want to be.
In England, Chloe Aston, better known as the Piano Bike Girl, has been using this special tricycle with a piano attached to it to perform for crowds. It's a side hustle she began at the age of 14, starting with the guitar. When her fingers began to hurt, her father came up with the idea for a piano bike so his daughter could continue sharing her musical gift.
Loads of people have been coming up to me to ask for photos and to go, oh, is that a real piano? Will it actually work? And I go, yeah, and I turn it on and I play them something.
Now 20 years old, Chloe has played in more than 100 towns and cities across the UK. That's pretty neat. In South Korea, scientists, this is also really cool, they have just reinvented the wheel. A special morphing wheel will allow wheelchair users to potentially climb stairs and roll over rocks. Special wire spokes respond to the environment, making the wheel stiff or soft depending on what it encounters. The Korea Institute of Machinery and Metals claims it is the world's first wheel of its kind. And finishing out our international tour back here in Michigan, middle school students from DeWitt and Marshall, along with exchange students from Japan, were able to get an up-close look at how state government works. They visited the state capitol building on Tuesday and got to hear from lawmakers as well. It's part of a program with the Koka International Society.
These relations will combine 2 cities or various cities. So we hope that not only between Michigan and Japan, Koka City, they can open their eyes to the world, so they can feel the possibility of I can go to the foreign countries, and it's a very important thing for the young people.
Well, for decades, everyone had a typewriter in their home and office, and then computers made them a relic of the past. But as Michael George shows us tonight, there are still some diehards out there hanging on to this retro way of putting ink to paper and keeping typewriters alive.
Hello, Gramercy.
For 92 years, this small family business in New York City has been doing one thing and one thing only.
We are the only typewriter shop in New York City.
Jay Schweitzer, owner of the Gramercy Typewriter Company, spends his days fixing and selling these machines that were once a part of every home and office. And even in the age of computers and smartphones, the typewriter's nostalgic sound strikes a chord.
It's a sound that certainly resonates with the older folk. And the youngsters, it's a sound they're not familiar with and want to know what that is.
Customer Joe Cannon says he does his best writing on a typewriter because it helps him focus.
It's tactile. I like the sound of it, but the real thing of it is you cannot multitask and type. Literally, to type, you have to think.
At this shop, you'll find machines dating back to the 20s. Schweitzer says his customers range from those who grew up putting paper in a carriage to curious kids, though they face a learning curve.
They're just not used to being in control of every single move, from loading in the paper to setting your left and right margins to hitting the keys with a certain tension in your hands.
But once they get started, they're hooked.
Who doesn't love a typed letter in the mail? Someone took the time out to type this letter to you. It's something most people keep forever.
Here, there's always a place for anyone who loves the sight, the touch, and the sound of the written word. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And from the written word to romantic spoken words, Connecticut state officials are hoping the popularity of Christmas movies will bring people to the Christmas movie trail. Hallmark, Netflix, and Lifetime often shoot their Christmas movies in the state, and visitors can check out 22 filming locations. The list includes cozy inns, quaint shops, bustling towns, and other attractions. Kendall, I'm there. I can't get enough of Christmas movies this time of the year.
I was just going to say Hallmark movies are my favorite, even despite some of the warmer conditions that we've had.
I know, yeah, it's not exactly feeling like the holiday season just yet.
Well, the good news is, at least if you think it's good news, that's going to be changing by this same time next week, Siobhan.
Ooh, okay. Your full forecast right after the break with Kendall. And then later on this Feel Good Friday, a dinosaur skeleton is going to auction, and the sellers are hoping it will be coming home to America. That and much more when Feel Good. Right back.